the warm up. If y'all been rocking with us, you know how we do. It's the warm up.
Yes, it is.
That's right. Go ahead and get your stretch on, Rad.
Like that doctor, the surgeon.
Oh yeah. Get my mind in his own. All right. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another session of Radford Real Talk. We are excited to have you here with us. BJ wanted me to hit the thing. I'm glad I'm over here controlling it.
Yeah, that's all the session will do.
Oh my goodness. So welcome to Radford Real Talk, y'all. It's been a couple weeks since our last
2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks since our last session, and it actually goes along with what we're talking about today. The reason why there's no specific time or day, it's just a feeling, and it's a process.
Most definitely.
And that's what we're talking about today, because I want this to be authentic, not a plan, not something where I feel pressure to do it, because I feel like it's not going to be as good or as real, So today, we're actually going to be talking about pain to purpose. That is the title of today's session. And, I had to honor Mental Health Awareness Month. May was Mental Health Awareness Month. And I have to, give props to my other counselors and people that are in helping professions that, sacrificing ourselves to help everybody else. And I just really wanted to give props for that because, that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's never about us. And you know what? When I say it's never about us, pain to purpose, I've learned that in life, that what we go through, what we experience, the trials that we experience, is not about us. We're being redefined into something. And it's about serving other people. That's something that I've learned. And when you look at pain, when you really look at it, it never feels good. And I always say life makes sense backwards. That's one of my sayings.
That's a good one.
We don't understand why. When we're dealing with certain things, we don't know, we don't understand. It's frustrating. It's stressful. It's just, sometimes it can just overtake you, and being good people, that doesn't exempt you from problems. And, I've just learned to accept those curves and the frustration. And when I look back on the different things that I have experienced, that I've been through, that we've been through, it makes so much sense now, Nobody wants pain though. But that's what I want to talk about today. So actually I had when I was doing group this week, I had a saying that came to me. I always get a lot of different sayings that'll come to my head. And so this is the saying: surrender to the process. And in parentheses, I had hands off. Submit to the journey. Bow down. Embrace the detours. Hold on. And I kind of wanted to break that thing down because it's deep. And it was just on my heart to talk about. And in honoring Mental Health Month, yes, we may talk about, depression, anxiety, mental illness, mental health disorders, all that stuff. But I kind of wanted to take it from a different spin. Because life's processes can really create mental health issues. You know, that doesn't mean that it always has to stick with us, but it does create them. It can. What we experience, what we go through, it can leave an imprint on us and on our brains, actually. And that's how, you know, some of how mental health diagnoses come about, like the depression, like the anxiety. So let's break down surrender to the process, right? Let's break that thing down. So I want to say for me, I've always been a planner, and I've always had to have this accomplished at this time and at this date, this goal. And you know what? I learned that life is definitely not like that. And once I really began to accept that, it took pressure off of me. And that's one of the reasons, even for this podcast, like, I'm not going to plan a recording. And I do that intentionally. That's something what I do to challenge myself, because automatically I'll just put pressure on myself to do something. I've operated that way my whole life. And surrendering to the process. There was this quote, right? I don't know who it was by, but I was reading something, and the quote said, you know, if you have a plan, I hope it's written in pencil. And that's so you can erase, you know, because it's not going to go. Nothing is going to go as planned. Truthfully, nothing will. And once we become more open to accepting that, it alleviates the anxiety, the frustration, the stress, the anger off of us. You know, that don't mean that you can't feel it, you know, accept it. But that doesn't mean that we have to waddle in it and stay there, because the process is longer than what we expected. What's your thoughts, Mr. Radford, about that saying, surrender to the process? What's your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think it's, surrendering to the process. It all depends on, um, like what process, like what you're aiming for. There's going to be different processes to different goals in life. Um, if we're talking like about a general, like all around just process for a better life, um, I think it's many small processes to get to joy and happiness, and um, to get to where you feel comfortable. Um, for me, um, I've got a tremendous amount of small processes, business, marriage, friendships, all these small steps that accumulate together to make one large, process. And the goal is, to live a God-fearing, joyful life. And like you said earlier, to, help people. And it helps me along the way. Um, I was very against that. Like when we first got married, you were you've always been a helpful person, and
Thank you.
helping people and pushing people, and I just flat I just didn't care. I was very selfish, and just didn't care about anything but myself, and it was and life was hard then.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
that the process to that was a be patient. I think patience during any process is highly important.
Mm-hmm.
um you know just just buckling down and trusting your process. And it's your process.
Yep, that's right.
It ain't this person, that person, this person telling you what to do. Just like with your podcast, this is your podcast, this is your process.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned before, you'll put so much on you where this doesn't become enjoyable no more, and you're not going to help nobody when you're not enjoying this.
Right.
If we came in here today, it was like, oh man, I got to do another podcast. or it starts to seem like work.
Right.
And we come in here free spirited, enjoying this.
Yeah.
You know,
Like we were sitting there watch TV. Said, okay, yep. We're gonna get ready to record in a few minutes.
podcast time.
Yeah. Yeah. Impromptu.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
so I think that's the patience,
That's good.
and even like knowing your process, like understanding your process to get to where you want to go. Understanding the steps in the process.
Right.
It's you know, it's got to be a plan to get to where you're going. Usually, for me, it's got to be planned out. And that doesn't mean like getting a piece of paper or writing down A, B, C, D, E, or 1, 2, 3. But just to have a general idea, excuse me, idea of a plan for the process.
Like goals.
Like a goal. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. In counseling, we call them target goals.
That's when the college education kicked in.
That don't mean that. That could just be life wisdom.
I couldn't even talk. But yeah, I think that's the goal. Yeah, goals.
Okay.
Yeah, very important. Very important. And measuring your goals and not putting a goal on yourself that is unattainable. Like,
yeah, because you feel like a failure.
yeah, I want to be a billionaire in a week.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen.
Right. Something that you said was very true as far as patience. And you know what? I feel like we all have our own road, our own path, our own purpose. But I feel like patience is a universal theme that everybody is going to have to experience. We are naturally selfish creatures. We want what we want when we want it. Now, just like all the weight loss stuff, all the plastic surgeries, all the, and we try to find an easy way to achieve the different things that we want to achieve, man. And I'm gonna let me tell you something. When you taste the victory of the things that you have worked so hard for, you don't ever want to let that go. You don't, it's like a whole new appreciation. And you're right. We all have our own processes. And those things you talked about as far as marriage, career, and all of that, those are the different dynamics within us, that make us who we are. And that's what a process is, a series of steps to achieve something. That's exactly what it is. Yes, sometimes it's good to have those target goals. Sometimes we don't know how it's going to be birthed out of us, how we're going to achieve it, when it's going to happen or what it looks like. Sometimes we don't know. And I actually, this podcast is an example. I rode with the equipment in my trunk for a long time. This was something that I've always wanted to do, along with writing my books and stuff. And, I knew that eventually I would slow down from, working and school and this and that and the other, to establish my career. And I rode around with it, knowing it would happen, just didn't know when and how. And I didn't pressure myself, and that's why now I refuse to take on so much, because I finally get a chance to bask in what I say, the fruits of my labor. This podcast, I could do it when I want. You know what I mean? I don't have to sign nobody's clock. I don't have to do anything. I can just come in here, hit the record button. So it's just being patient with that and knowing that, just keep stepping. And one of the things I always tell people, sometimes you're so out of it and tired that you got to crawl. Crawling is still moving. Although it's not walking, and you're still moving. And sometimes life will beat you down to the point where that's all you have, and it's okay. It's okay. Just keep walking. You can't stop. Or keep crawling. You can't stop. And stop trying to figure everything out, and we'll beat ourselves up trying to do that control thing. And that was something that I had always struggled with, and you've helped me with that, BJ, because,
Hey, hit that button.
I can't hit the button.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We in the moment right now. This ain't no hit the button.
That was a joke.
You whack. You were so whack. See what I did with y'all. I looked at him like, hit the button. Hold on now. We live. We live.
That control kick
See,
in.
see how I look. Yes, yes. See what?
Mhm.
See, it's still there. It's still something I deal with. Oh, so surrender to the process, hands off. That makes me think of like God driving. I'm waving a white flag, taking my hands off the wheel, letting him do this thing. Easier said than done, for real. Um, but that's something that we are going to have to do in order for him to have his way. It's not our will, it's his will. But we have to be open to it. You know what, BJ, I learned that when we have a relationship with God or a higher power, everybody may not believe in him. That's fine. See, as a counselor, it's not about my values, it's the person's. So I have to build a person up from, I don't care if it's the that chair. If that's what makes you a better person, I'm going to use that chair to make you the best person ever, you know? And it goes back to, I feel like God, it's a partnership. You know, I really do. It's a partnership. And he's not going to force himself to make us better, to do things better. He's not going to do that. And you know, it's like a business alliance. And I feel like, you know, it's up to us. That's where free will comes in. So we can have the best. He has things that he wants to do for us that we would never imagine. Look at where we are now. We would never imagine some of the things that he's blessed us with and some of the things he's doing in our lives. And
Very true.
but that goes to the next statement, submit to the journey. We have to be able to do that. A journey is traveling to various places. That's what a journey is. So, you know, in life, that's what we do. And that goes back to like what you were saying earlier about marriage, about, you know, what we do for a living, family, friends. You know, we all, although we may be connected, family, friends, marriage, we all have an individual journey as well. And, you know, and the reason why I have submit to the journey, and in those parentheses I put bow down, and that's what I was saying earlier. You can't look up while you're bowing down, and that being that faith walk. And you know, I honestly feel that if we can focus on our journey, we can more greatly appreciate the process of that journey. Sometimes people don't know how to stay in their own lane.
Well, yeah, and I think also, you know, nowadays there's so much, you know, so much social media and YouTube and everybody, you know, just watching other people's journeys, and then you try to, you know, like keeping up with the Joneses. People try to, you know, emulate. Lord have mercy. What kind of Lord have mercy. Imitate. Excuse me. I don't have the degrees that Miss Radford has. Imitate other people's lives, and so that takes the focus off of your journey because you start watching other people's journeys, and you know, for me, it was, you know, a journey is filled with, you know, life journeys, ups and downs, and you know, you got to take them downs just like you take those ups, and for me, that was very difficult. I didn't know how to, you know, get punched in the face. You know, I reacted very emotionally, you know, and just, you know, why me? You know, why not you? Is that, you know, you hear that a lot. Why not you?
That's funny you
You
said
know?
that. One of the things that, you know, I've learned is when you want to say why me, perception is everything. So instead of saying why me, you switch your language to what is it that it's for me to get out of this process? What is it that, you know, God, you're trying to show me? What is it? What is it? What is it exactly that you're doing within me? Because it's a reason.
Well, yeah, you are your mistakes. You wholeheartedly, you are your mistake. You're a reflection of your mistakes, and you know, and your right choices. You know, your good choices, bad choices. Everything at the end of the day reflects back on you. And I think, the bumps and bruises you take along that journey and that process. It makes you out to be the individual that determining how you react to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to have to be some thought, but especially when you're down, it's to get back up. It is a journey. Like when I've been so far down before. I didn't even I didn't see nothing. All I saw was the bottom. I didn't see a top, a middle, or even a little bit above the bottom. That's all I that's all I could see.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a process to get to the point where I am today. And a lot of times I didn't even understand the process. I just knew that I was making that next right decision. And I just put a bunch of small right decisions together, and
Mm-hmm.
it helped my journey out. It became my journey is a bunch of small right decisions, just thinking, 10 steps ahead of everything,
Yeah.
and just putting that what's the saying, putting the best foot forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I was listening to Darius Daniels
Hmm.
one morning going to work, and I love the quote that he stated. He said, "We're born looking like our parents, but we die looking like our decisions."
Mm. That
And
makes
man,
sense.
that thing is so deep. It is so deep, and every time we open our eyes, we got another chance to get it right. It's up to us, though. And
Hmm.
nothing is going to be forced, just like I was saying, earlier. And sometimes, you know, we get so caught up in achieving the next thing, meeting this goal, meeting that goal, that we miss the present. A lot of us do that, and that used to be an issue that I would have. I would be so focused on, achieving this and doing this, and okay, I got that. I wouldn't take the time to really appreciate what I had went through or what I had achieved, or it was always looking for the next thing to do,
Hmm.
where I could be better. And I'm thankful that I've grown from that, and I'm really a big advocate about self-care. Like I talk about that all the time, whether, people that I mentor, counseling, whatever,
Hmm.
clients, I'm big on that, because we miss the small blessings. We will never see this day again, and we miss the small blessings, whether how the sun feels on our skin, a, how great a meal was, or how, hearing the rain and the small stuff, man. Looking at the clouds and just appreciating the things that we take for granted and don't even realize it until it's taken away from us. And
Hmm.
that's it's really deep, and it's all in repositioning ourselves and our thought processes, to try to help us to just to keep going,
Hmm.
but and I like what you said about the social media. That's true. Like people, you see what's going great in everybody's life.
I
That's
think
what
they
it's
should
a
have a
display.
social. I'm sorry.
No,
I
you
think they
good.
should have a social media that shows all the bad stuff in your
Real
life
life
going on.
stuff,
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff.
Put a picture of your mugshot up there.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
real life stuff, man. I mean, and
You can't
people,
compete with that.
you can't, and people feel like, that they're less than, or they should be traveling now, or they should be
Hmm.
having this now, or having that now, and it's like, focus on your journey.
Hmm.
Stay in your lane, because guess what? Everybody's going through something. Everybody's got something they got to go through, and it kind of it's just we lose our way looking in the other lane. You know, we do. If you driving a car, one of my sayings is you driving a car and you look too forward, too far ahead, or if you are looking in the rear view and you're looking back and so focused on back, you're gonna hit something.
Hmm.
You are, and whatever you hit is distracting you and keeping you from where you supposed to be going. So life would be a lot, you know, easier to deal with if people would stay in their lane. And here's the other thing, not and I'm really big on moving in silence and not telling everybody what your dreams, aspirations, and all of that. See, because when you tell everybody, it's first of all, it's not for everybody, but
Mm-mm.
then everybody don't mean well, you know.
Mm-mm.
And when you tell people some of your dreams, what God is showing you, what you want to do, what you're doing, that opens the door for their opinion.
Well, yeah, your dad has always said something that stuck with me is once you put something in open air, you give everybody an opportunity to hit it.
Yeah.
You know, you give everybody an opportunity to comment on it. It's different between just talking and throwing your dreams out there to somebody, or coming up with a business plan and taking it to a business person saying, "Hey, this is what I want to do." That's a little different,
Right.
you know. But just at a cookout every day or going to see somebody, I want to do this. That sometimes it puts fear in people. It when your dreams are so big that you tell it to somebody and they look at you like what, like that's you're on something,
Mm-hmm.
like it's, or when people start telling you you can't do this or you won't do this,
Mm-hmm.
listen to that, because that's a little fear in them, because you're progressing forward. You're thinking of ideas and stuff, and um, it's, and you're right. You can't tell everybody, everything.
Mm-mm.
It's you just can't. It's just people aren't wired like that, especially if they're not doing well. You can't go tell somebody hey, you know, I acquired this year, or I did that this year, or I got this business opportunity. They'll start looking at you funny.
And then some of them who are doing well don't want you to do better than what they doing.
I noticed a huge thing. Um, when I was when I was at rock bottom, man, it was, everybody would pick up the phone when I would call, because all I would talk about was my struggles, and several years later, along the journey and the process, where I'm doing okay now, not a lot of people pick that phone up,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I was the one, when you think your life is bad, call BJ and let
Mm-hmm.
him tell you about what's going on in his life that he created. That
Mm-hmm.
I've always, I tell everybody that I created my bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a great family. Great mom and dad, good brother. And I decided to you know to go left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you start getting successful, people don't want to hear that. Because then they
No.
start comparing, like keeping up with the Joneses. Just like we are talking about social media, they start comparing their life and like, oh, how did this fool go from this to this?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when the negativity comes in.
And you can't never judge a person,
You better not.
because you never know what they've been through to get to where they are.
Mm-mm.
Everybody has a story,
Everybody.
and that just goes back to, like, with those that are incarcerated. That working with them, I don't call them inmates. I call them clients. Um,
That's cool.
yeah, they're a client, and because they're a person, and it's that just goes back to some of the things that I try to instill in them. You got to learn how to be with yourself. You take you everywhere you go, so you have to love on you, take care of you, treat you right, put your own oxygen mask on first, because people
Hmm.
just flat out don't give a damn, and that's just what it is.
Some people do, but the
Many
majority,
don't.
many don't.
And that's just being real.
Yeah,
Many do not, or they may appear that they do, depending on what's going on in your life.
that's the worst kind.
But it's like you have to be open to, along that way, on that journey, man, seeing things and seeing people for who and what they are. And everybody is not going to respect that vision that you have. Everybody's not going to respect that goal and dream that you have. And you have to sometimes carry that thing and move quietly. And sometimes people do things for validation, and it ain't about that. You do what's in your heart. The only one that you worry about making proud is God and whoever, like your spouse or whatever. That's what you worry
I
about.
like the way you threw that.
You know what I mean? That's the truth, though, because He's first, right? Because He puts things within us, and then we're one, so
Uh-huh.
we're right under Him. And because everything, guess what? Everything that I do when I'm not around you is a reflection of Radford. It's a
Mm,
reflection of you.
absolutely.
How I carry my stuff, the things I say,
Hmm.
how I show up when you're not there. I'm representing you everywhere I go. And people don't see it that way or think about it that way, but you have to. You literally have to on the journey. Everything, whatever it is I could be dealing with, going through, frustrated or stressed about, how I handle that speaks volumes. And it's still, and it will always be a representation,
Mhm. You
of
said
you.
you said something. Yeah, that's very very true. But you said something about a vision. I think, and it made me think about, that's all a process and a journey is a vision.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have no, the Bible says a man without a vision shall perish.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have some type of vision in your life or a goal, and you're just waltzing through life,
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
you're not gonna grow to your expectations,
You're just
or
wandering.
you're not necessarily lost. I don't think, but you're just you're just circling,
Yeah.
and you could have so much more joy in your life, or you might just be comfortable with the average. You know, what is it? Being content.
And that's okay. Hey,
And I've seen
that's
some
on you.
very happy people with being content. They're
Yeah.
content with going to work, getting a paycheck, coming home, spending time or whatever they do in their life. Whatever. Hey, what is that saying? You like your dad says that too. You like it, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You like it, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as if it's making you a good person at the end of the day, and you're not,
Go for it.
hey, knock yourself out.
Absolutely. Go for it. And I one of my other sayings is, if you ain't scared, it ain't big enough.
Mm-hmm.
We grow when we step outside of what is comfortable to us. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable.
It's not a good feeling.
But that's the only way that we grow, mature, gain wisdom, is by stepping out and just doing that
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing everything. Not we have to do that in order to become who we're called to be. And that last statement in that saying that I had was embrace the detours. And in the parentheses of that, I had hold on, right? So I put hold on because it's like you're holding on to the driver's wheel.
Yeah.
You hold on tight. But, a detour, you're still going to get to your destination, but it's not the way that you thought. It's not the way that you thought. You're still going to get there. You got to go maybe a longer way and around here and there. But you know what? It's something else that I've learned in life is along that detour is people who are either called to help you get to your destiny or hurt you to get to your destiny.
Hinder you. Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why I say hurt, because some people are meant to hurt you. Some people are meant to hurt you because it creates something within you, and also it gets them out of your life. Everybody ain't supposed to be there. People come in seasons. I really believe that. Some are there to stay, but some do come in seasons. And that's a part of that detour process. It's the people that are there to help, the people that are there to hurt you, and then also the experiences that you gain while on that detour. You're still gonna end up where you're supposed to be, but it's some stuff that you need to be exposed to before you get there. That's what it's all about. But don't nobody, that goes back to a control thing. Don't nobody want to experience a detour. We got it in our mind what time we're gonna get there, how we're gonna get there, what is it gonna look like. And as soon as we see that construction worker with them cones up and telling you go this way, and God forbid if it ain't a construction worker, you just gotta drive around the neighborhood to get to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beauty in that. It could be beauty. You'll see things you've never seen before. And that's what I've learned in a detour. And in spite of, and in all the things that we talked about is, surrendering to the process, submitting to the journey, embracing the detours, they all encompass pain to purpose. I've always said, and I tell the people I work with, if I had to deal with something or go through something to help bring healing to somebody else, to see them heal, made it worth the cross that I carried.
Mm.
It made it okay.
Yeah, and everybody in this world goes through something.
Everybody.
Every single person on this earth.
Yep.
And you learn, You know, as long as you learn through what you're going through, and it doesn't have to be an exact time. You know, I learned 20 years later. You know, I'm a hard learner, and it's like you said, you're gonna get to your destination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then once you get there, don't look back and say, "Well." And I used to do this all the time. Like, man, what if I had done this
Yes, you did.
25 years ago?
Yes.
We'd be billionaires.
I used to stay on you about that.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
We're joyful, we're happy, but it's still hard to think like, because the what ifs creep in. It's like, it's like not being satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not satisfied where we're at because my vision is to get to this certain destination.
Right.
I'm
right.
very joyful,
I got you.
but I'm not satisfied with,
the hunger's still there.
the hunger is still there. It's not, but that's my choices. That's not everybody's choice.
For sure. For sure.
Everybody don't want to do that. So.
And it's okay. And accepting that some people don't. Accepting people for who and what they are. We have to do that,
Oh, absolutely.
And for what they want. And that's just like you can't help everybody that don't want to be helped. Let them go. Let them go through their own process. You got to recognize that and see it for what it is. But people will sit there and kill themselves trying to help somebody who don't want it. Let them go. And you creating more distractions and frustrations and hindering your own process because you're trying to help somebody who don't want it. It's a waste of time, And, I want to, before we end, there was a quote that even ties all of this in by Mother Teresa, right? Mother Teresa said, just when she thought she had a handle on life, the handle broke.
Mother Teresa said that?
Uh-huh. And I'm like, dang, that was deep. That was super deep. And that's everybody's process.
That's a good saying.
Ain't it though? But it's gonna be something. It's gonna always be something, man. So sometimes people will get in a pity party because something don't go right or don't go how they expect or this or that. And they'll sit in and they'll waddle. And instead of, all the time you take waddling and sitting in the issue, you could be problem solving. Mm-hmm. That don't mean not, to not feel what you need to feel. That's fine. Feel what you need to feel, but keep it moving. Mm-hmm. You have to do that. And you know what I learned when I thought about when I heard that quote, I'm like, you know what? There's handles. When it's like I saw a vision in my head. I saw like the handle breaking, right? And then it's another handle above that. So each handle is each level within us. We're climbing to new levels, right? To be better. That's what we should be trying to do. And that's what I saw. I'm like, okay, as soon as you think you got a handle on it, the handle broke. The handle breaks. But then if you look up, there's another one for you to grab.
There's usually two handles on a pot.
Yeah. So and it does not mean that we've done anything wrong. It's something for us to learn. We should always be wanting to be better. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Mm-hmm. The handle's going to break. Expect it, accept it, and keep it moving.
Colonel Sanders didn't come up with his fried chicken recipe until he was 62 years old.
It's never too late. It's never
62.
too late. Yeah.
That man I don't think he did much before the age of 62, but at 62 years of age, he came up with that chicken recipe.
It's never too late.
The Colonel.
Yeah, it's never. It's not. And just being open to that and accepting life. For what it is. We're going somewhere. If we choose to, you can go up, you can go forward, you can go back. It's up to you. We make those decisions. That's the free will part. And I can say I'm thankful.
Yep.
We're blessed, and we thank you guys for supporting us. We've been having a lot of support, and we want you to please continue to share this because it's so much negative in the world today, and that's all we hear. And it just comes a point in time when you need some inspiration, and something to just keep you going because life can be tough sometimes.
Amen.
It can be, but y'all, thank you for rocking with us.
Thank y'all.
We just really appreciate, your ear and trusting us with your healing and your growth because that's what this is. So until next time, it's been good,
Real Talk.
Radford Real Talk. It's been good, Rad. Thank you for hanging with me today.
Oh, thank you for hanging with me.
All right,
It was a
y'all.
good process.
It was a great
Good
process, man.
journey.
Great journey.
Small journey.
With a little detour in between, right? All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.